In his natural law theory, Thomas Aquinas argued that human persons can naturally know and do what is good. However, he was also aware that because of certain limitations, such as erroneous judgments and inordinate desires, they will not always be able to do what is morally right in every situation. Because of this, Aquinas emphasized the necessity of acquiring virtues, to help them consistently pursue the moral good. In this video, we will explore Aquinas' virtue ethics, and discover how virtues can assist us in pursuing what is good, and ultimately, in achieving happiness. Aquinas devotes several works to his theory of virtue, primarily the Prima Secundae of the Summa Theologiae, commentary on the Nicomachean Ethics, and disputed questions on virtue. He was deeply influenced by Aristotle. Following the ancient Greek philosopher, he believed that virtue is a mean between excess and lack. For example, that the virtue of courage is the mean between rashness, excessive courage, and cowardice, lack of courage. Aquinas defines virtue as a habit that disposes an agent to perform its proper operation or movement. In other words, virtues for him are good habits found in the faculties of the soul, which dispose or incline such faculties to pursue, with ease, consistency, and pleasure, what is good, according to human nature. Because virtues are essentially habits, Aquinas considers them as a human person's second nature. Aquinas distinguishes between two main groups of virtues, natural or acquired, and supernatural, or infused. Natural virtues, according to him, following Aristotle, are acquired through human effort. They are attained through the repetition of certain actions. For example, by acting honestly, one acquires over time the virtue of honesty. Among the many natural virtues Aquinas distinguishes, he treats as most important the traditional cardinal virtues: prudence, justice, courage, and temperance. They are called cardinal, from the Latin cardo, meaning hinge, because they are the principal habits on which all the other virtues hinge. For example, prudence is the virtue of choosing or doing the right thing at the right time. Any virtue, therefore, whose purpose is to promote the right choice or action at the right time, such as the virtue of foresight, will be considered as part of prudence. Each cardinal virtue perfects a different faculty of the soul. Prudence is the perfection of the intellect's practical reasoning. It is the rectitude of discretion in any matter or action. Justice is the will's stable disposition to give to each individual what is due to him. Courage is the strength of the irascible appetite, in pursuing what is in accordance with reason. And temperance is the moderation of the concupiscible appetite, with respect to its desires that conflict with reason. Among the cardinal virtues, Aquinas treats prudence as foundational to all the other virtues. Without prudence, he argues, none of the other virtues are possible. Conversely, prudence itself requires the proper disposition of the other faculties. Accordingly, Aquinas follows the traditional doctrine of the unity of the virtues. One cannot have any of the virtues without having all of them. Unlike Aristotle, Aquinas believed that a human person is more than a composite of body and soul. He or she is created in God's image and likeness, and thus is a being who participates in a supernatural order. For this reason, Aquinas was convinced that human persons are capable of possessing, in addition to the natural virtues, the supernatural virtues, especially if they are in the state of grace. Supernatural virtues, according to Aquinas, are those virtues that are directly infused by God in the faculties of a human person. They are spiritual gifts that transcend one's natural capabilities, and that elevate one's actions to the supernatural or divine order. Aquinas classifies the supernatural virtues into two groups, theological and moral. The theological virtues are the virtues of faith, hope, and love. Faith is the intellectual disposition to assent to what is not apparent. Hope is the will's dispositional confidence in achieving a good that is difficult to obtain. And love is the will's disposition for perfect love. The theological virtues have God as their object. They provide the soul with the knowledge, desire, and love of God. They cannot be known by natural reason alone, but only through divine revelation. They allow human persons to attain their supernatural end, that is, communion with God. The infused moral virtues, on the other hand, correspond to the cardinal virtues of the natural order. They are the virtues of prudence, justice, fortitude, and temperance, that are infused by God in a human person to supplement the theological virtues. They do not have God as their object, but those actions which lead human beings to their supernatural end. Aquinas posits their necessity because of, on the one hand, the insufficiency of the natural cardinal virtues in achieving a supernatural end, and on the other hand, the grace of faith received by a person. Just as prior to faith there are acquired virtues commensurate with reason, to assist the human intellect and will, in performing morally good actions, so with the advent of faith, there should be corresponding supernatural virtues commensurate with such faith, to assist the elevated human faculties, in performing supernaturally good actions. To download a written summary of this video, kindly use the link in the description below. Also, please support our channel by buying our merch, donating at Buy Me a Coffee, or watching our other content. Thank you and see you in our next one.